on Monday, the 23rd of February, 2026, for anyone who's watching the video. So Soul Solutions have been going since 2020. It was started as a platform for therapists in a time when people weren't getting out and to show their wares. Anyone can come along and watch. You don't have to be a therapist, but if you are and you want to join, you can have the opportunity to do a talk yourself. If there are any questions this evening, please leave them to the end and please don't make them too personal because we do record and we put it out to people. If you have personal questions, then June's personal, well, not personal, her work details will be put in the groups and you can contact her.
Mm.
So this evening we have June Tramner, who has many modalities, a couple of which are acupuncture and touch for health. She also teaches and a whole plethora of other stuff that I will let June tell you about. And without any further ado, I will pass over to June. Take it away.
Thank you, Karen. It's lovely to be here. I do love this group, and I'm so glad I joined in, and I try and listen to everybody else's whenever I can. Because we've got some really wonderful people in this group, I have to tell you. So yeah, I mean, I've been in practice now for nearly 40 years. My daughter is about to be 41. Yeah, 41. And I started when she was a baby. So I learned about Touch for Health first, and then I moved on to acupuncture from there because it seemed to make sense. Working with energy was always something that I felt was more important than just being physically focused. And yeah, so then I added all these other things. And you just keep on, don't you? Just there's always more to learn. The ear candles that I'm going to talk about today, I do include lots of my things with each other. So I'm not like doing just acupuncture or just kinesiology or just ear candles or just flower essences or everything kind of merges. So whoever comes to see me gets a mixture of stuff depending on what they need, which is why it's lovely to be able to ask the body questions with the kinesiology. So what I first of all like to do is, especially when I'm teaching, is I get this energy stick. I don't know if you've seen it before. Anybody seen one of these before? Well, it's not going to be that impressive because it's just me holding it, but you can hold one end and give the other end to one person in the room, and then they hold the hand of the another person and round and round and round and round and round until the last person joins up with me, and then it sets it off like that. See the light and the sound it's a really annoying sound, so I'm going to stop. Um, but it's a way of showing people how we influence each other energetically and how we're not separate. And even if we're not holding that, we're still influencing each other, you know. So it was really interesting. I had a lady in to a Touch for Health introductory thing last Saturday with her three kids. And it was so interesting because two of them were trying really hard to analyze it and figure it out with their brain, what was going on and what's in it and why and how and blah. And the girl, that was the two boys. And I'm not saying that they would always be like this, but it was really interesting the way it happened. The girl was just like, "Wow." And she kind of wants to be my apprentice now. She's so sweet. She's about 10. Yeah, she's really lovely. So, yeah, I took up ear candles towards the end of the 90s, and I trained with the lovely Linda Stokes, who was one of the two founders of this thing called Theremoauricular Therapy. And at the time, they called them Hopi ear candles. Now they've taken the Hopi name off because the Hopi tribes didn't want their name being associated with it. Ha, now it says Indian on it. It didn't say that before. They keep changing it. But of course, they're not Indians, are they? They're North American native people. Anyway, never mind. We go through these, let's rename everybody according to what's proper. But yeah, so does anybody here know already? Have you experienced ear candles? Jacqueline? Yeah? Elsa? Karen, have you had them?
I've not had them. I've heard of them for a long time. I've never experienced them.
Ooh, okay. Cassia, have you had them before?
I've heard of them, but I've never tried, no.
Okay, so what?
I've actually applied them and I've had them for many,
Okay,
many, many years. Wonderful.
yes. So did you train with Linda or anybody, or you just
Just did it from
got them
my knowledge, and but
because
it'll
you're a
very,
trustworthy person? You're not likely to do any harm to anybody. Yeah,
I'm a therapist.
I think I think we can go overboard with the overprotecting the people. However, it's nice to know that I've done this thorough training. It feels good. So now I'm teaching other people because Linda's retired and she said, "Here's the stuff and you can do it." So I've only done one class, and that was 3 years ago when we had our hub in Fulford. I did them there because it was a nice big room and it was a good room to do it in. So now I've got my little tiny clinic, and so I can only take 4 people. So I'm going to do another one in when am I doing it? May. But yeah, so well, yes, I guess what you're here to know is just about how I work, really, I guess. And maybe it'll give you some tips if you want to, because you can go and buy them in loads of places. You can get them online. I get mine from Revital, the online supplier. These are the Biosun ear candles. Now there are many varieties. There's what's the other company? Natural something something. They're very similar, but they've got different additives. And if you could smell this, it smells like honey. It's basically honey and beeswax and sage and chamomile. And it's put in a big tray mixed together, and the flax cloth is laid in the tray to soak up all this lovely mixture, and then they roll it up into these tubes. So they're not actually solid candles, they're hollow tubes. And at the other end, they've got a grommet. I'm not going to take them out of the plastic packaging because then I'd have to use them. And it's not really recommended to do them on yourself because you need the person to be relaxed and just to let go and let it all do what it needs to do, because the whole purpose of it is to relax things in the head. And when I get to the slides, you'll see that the point of it is to relax the ear canal, the sinuses, head, muscles, tension anywhere. And you can't be lying there holding this, trying to stay awake and watching for if you're going to set fire to the house. It's just like, no, just kind of cross purposes. So it's always better to do it with someone who has got some sense of responsibility, like Jacqueline. And you always need a mug of water. I've got my Bertie Bassett mug here that I use. I put water in there and have it right beside. So when you get down to the red line, it used to be much lower actually, but they moved it up, and I don't know why. I guess they thought you didn't really need to get that close to the ear. But yeah, so then you take it out of the first ear and pop it in the water, and then you do the stuff that I'm going to say that I do generally alongside the ear candles, because some hairdressers are actually offering ear candles, and they go, here, we'll just do one side and then we'll just do the other, and it's like 15 minutes each side, bye bye. And I take a whole hour because that's what I was trained to do. And even though Linda didn't know about acupressure points, she did talk about loosening the neck, making sure you're massaging round the ears. You can even do a head massage if you feel inclined to do that, if that feels like a good thing to do. Um, there are so many other things you can do. So yeah, and it's really important to make sure if you're working just on the head, as an acupuncturist, I always make sure I do things down on the feet to ground after you've been working on the head. So I think that that's something that might be missing from a lot of people's experience, and if they're trained with somebody who just said, here are the ear candles, go out and do them. So yeah, I mean, I feel it's covering all the bases. Like I said at the beginning, we don't want to mollycoddle people. Self-responsibility is a very important attribute, especially these days, and we're encouraging more people to be more self-responsible for their own health and well-being. And it's a really important part of Touch for Health as well. So we actually want to make sure that people are not just lying there passively receiving, although they need to relax, but they're also giving good feedback. If it feels uncomfortable in any way, they need to let you know, not just lie there and say, well, you're pushing too hard on, because you can lean too firmly. There's got to be a seal around where the ear canal and the candle meet. So your smoke that you're burning from the one end goes down and goes inside the ear canal. It doesn't float around and then come back around the edge because it looks like mist. It's really pretty, but it's not helpful if it does that. It kind of leaks out. So yeah, and the first thing I would do is I'd have a look inside their ear with the famous otoscope that I mentioned in the introduction that Karen put out. And it's got a little light in it. It's the thing that audiologists use, doctors use for looking in, and you pop it in there and it lights up and you can see right into the ear canal, unless there's stuff in the way that's blocking it up. So you can see if there's any inflammation, which is quite important, because if it's red and inflamed, that's a contraindication. If the eardrum is burst, that's also a contraindication. You shouldn't really do it because the smoke can get into the inner ear, and we're not saying that it would cause harm, but it's better to not. It's the reason it's sealed off from the outside air is because it's not meant to have things like smoke disappearing into it. So yeah, that's one of the contraindications. So yeah, and then I also afterwards would maybe put my acupuncture magnets onto very carefully chosen points around the ear, around the neck, down the legs, or on the wrists, according to the meridians that come up around the ears and then go down, the ones that go down to the feet. And also what I do is my lovely facial revitalization treatment with the rose quartz roller around, and definitely going around the ear like that and around the jaw and down the neck, because especially with children, this is quite important. You can use these on little ones. But their ear is very much smaller, and this is partly why they have problems. You wouldn't do it on anyone who's got any pain in their ear, because that's also a sign of what some people call an infection, and which I don't, but there we go. But an irritation in the ear, that the ear is doing something that you don't want to interfere with. It's trying to clear something. Um, so yeah, so their eustachian tube with little ones, it tends to come more straight across like that until their faces grow and get longer, and then it drains down more into the throat, the back of the throat. So this is partly why it's better to do the massage all around there, either before or after, or both. You can do both. So now I'm just going to see if I can find my slideshow. Now there you go. You will see that I've used beehive because there's honey in the ear candles, and I thought this was one of the best backgrounds to use. So this is just my information that is there for my contact purposes. I I can't move this. Why can I not move this? Huh. Okay. Maybe I'll just, there we go. History and background. Now this is very brief, and we can have questions about this at the end if you want. But yeah, they did apparently use ear candles in ancient Greece and for cleansing, purifying, healing on a spiritual level. They were used for an aid in meditation as well because they're so very relaxing. Um, and then they realized later on that as a physical thing, usually down to our terrible diet, people do get a lot of stuff accumulating in their sinuses and in their ears and in their throat and so on. So yeah, many people that come from the Mediterranean countries or Latin America remember receiving ear candle treatments as children. And the same with cupping from Chinese medicine. There's these traditions, and acupuncture really wasn't just the preserve of the Chinese. A lot of these things were common knowledge in the collective consciousness, really. So it's interesting how we're going back to that now, I think. We're going back to that awareness of all being one. And knowledge is spreading so quickly right now. It's not just because of social media. I think things are spreading quickly because of our telepathy is increasing, our pineal glands are waking up, and this would be a really helpful thing to help if someone's trying to detox from whatever they might have acquired either energetically from other people or from medications or from, food and air and water and all the toxins we've accumulated. It's one of the good adjunctive methods to use for that kind of thing. So yeah, so the Hopi, this I should not be calling them Indians. I never call them Indians. This is Linda's notes. I'm going to have to change it. They're First Nation people, really. They were the ones who may or may not have been there first. There may have been people there 16,000 years ago, we are now discovering. So, but they were there when the Westerners appeared. That is for sure. Um, so yeah, they said they discovered it, but other people knew about it first. But they use it, and the thing is, you see, you think that living in the southern United States, um, really it's a warm, dry place. However, it gets very cold at night, and there's a lot of wind, and wind can get into your ears and cause havoc. So this is partly why it's useful. So yeah, they were the first settled Pueblo Indians of the North American continent. So they weren't the nomad hunter-gatherers like some of the other tribes. They built actual solid homes. Whereas where I come from in Canada, people were still using teepees and mobile homes, really, and they followed the animals around to hunt them and to fishing, and they had summer places and winter places and so on. But these guys were settled and they had those lovely adobe buildings. Um, yeah, and they felt that they were working with Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and they just felt very strongly about the connection to the land and to the heavens, and that bears alongside the acupuncture, the Chinese medicine philosophy of the yin and the yang. Human beings are in the middle between heaven and earth, and we're taking our energy from both up through the soles of our feet. From Mother Earth and down from the heavens through this point on the top of our head. So, it all fits together with the same kind of philosophy from the ancient times. And I do really believe shamanic healers were the original healing people all around the world. not just in North America or South America, but also it turns out in Korea, because I've been studying their history, and yeah, it's very interesting. Ancient wall paintings also show that they use the ear candles. So that's really interesting. And the healing ceremonies. So there's a picture of my salt lamp and ear candles that I use on my advertising. I already shown you that. So this is a photograph of a big poster that I've got that I've kind of shrunk down, and it's a bit dark and fuzzy, but what I want you to see is the incredible detail and magnificence of the human form, really, to be honest. Inside, right in here, there is all of that. And if you look here, this is that. And that unravels if you open it out like that. And then it's this inside of that, this long tube. And then it has these three other tubes there. And that's a shot of an eardrum. So that's what you would see if you're looking at a healthy eardrum. With the otoscope, you would be peeking in there. And you can't really harm the eardrum because it's quite a long way inside the head. But the ear candle only sits just here. And the otoscope can go into about here. But some people have got very narrow ear canals, very twisty ones. So you have to kind of peek round a corner. Everybody's unique. Everybody's unique. And then inside of here, you've got these. I'm going to have to move this, aren't I? Let's just take that up there. Inside here, you've got all these little fibers that help with our balance. And so that's what these are doing. This person bending over, you can get quite dizzy bending over if those are blocked up. And you can lose your spatial orientation if you have these. I mean, there's various ailments that have names, like Meniere's and benign postural vertigo, I think that's called. Like, yes, there's another word in there, but yeah, it's basically what happens when your ears are not doing their job of not just taking sound in, but they're a balancing kind of mechanism in the rest of the body. So I find it absolutely fascinating. And there's a picture of a child with her eustachian tube going straight across to her nose, whereas an older person, it would go more on a slant down and drain it better. And there you go. There's the eustachian tube. See, going down away from the middle ear, and there's the eardrum, and there's all that tubules, and that's the way sound gets carried from here through this anvil and hammer, that it kind of vibrates. How it differentiates all of the sounds that we pick up on, it's just phenomenal. And then it gets carried through here, and then it goes to the brain that way. And there are so many things that can go wrong with it, but most of the time they work. So the kind of things that people would like to use them for now, they actually, like I said, they used to use them in preparation for a state of trance. Now it looks like part of that has got cut off, but I think it's okay. It's just that first letter. It may seem a strange concept, says Linda, for the modern observer, but the ear candles evolved in an age where therapy and religion formed a natural unit. And I think this is partly what we're realizing now, that spirituality fits in with our healthcare rather than just looking at somebody in a strictly scientific way. Science is very much a part of our modern life, but it's only one angle to things, and we need to look at all the different parts of the person. And I know all you guys know that, and that's how you do your practices. So yeah, so it can be used for many problems relating to the ear, nose, and throat. The lymph system and the metabolism can be favorably influenced by this intensive but pleasant and completely painless treatment. So this is the loveliness of it. It's very relaxing and soothing, but it is very effective. And people say, oh, but it doesn't suck out the earwax. And of course, ear treatments for wax have moved on since I first started in practice. They used to syringe and they used to cause real harm to the ear canal and to the eardrum with overly enthusiastic syringing, you know. So they've now moved away from that and they're doing it like a suction with a little vacuum kind of thing, or a doctor, a specialist would go in with a tiny little um, instrument, like a little long-handled spoon kind of thing. I've not seen them, but this is what people tell me, and they just draw it out that way. And some people do soften the wax with olive oil or bicarbonate of soda in water, and that's also very useful. And it's sometimes useful to do that before you do an ear candle treatment. If somebody's got very impacted wax, and honestly, you know, the way people do with these cotton buds, thinking that they're doing some good, it's really not a great idea. If you want to use a cotton bud, clean around your earlobe by all means, and just around the edge of the ear. But if you start poking around inside, you end up compacting stuff in there that then just because the ear canal has got this like tiny peristaltic motion like the intestines, and it pushes the earwax towards the surface. And so of course if it's really jammed in there, it just can't do that. So we need to keep allowing that to come out. And that's where the ear candles come in. They warm the area, they relax it, and they allow the wax to come out. That's how it works. Sometimes you do open up the ear candles, although some people, it's a debatable thing whether one should open them up, because you kind of people want to see, oh look, all that stuff's come out of my ear. Well, you know, sometimes you get stuff out. Sometimes it does drift up into the ear candle, but a lot of times it doesn't. What tends to happen is after the candling, people might find that their ear is pushing stuff out and it will plop out onto their pillow, or they'll feel it round the edge of their ear, you know, the next day or something. So yeah, it's a bit like that. So we tend to recommend 3 visits at a fairly close together intervals, like once a week or even closer. If people are really suffering from waxy caused deafness, it's not going to help the kind of deafness that's coming from damage or old age. And if you've got, like I said, a burst eardrum, it's not going to fix that, and it's very much contraindicated. And if you've got inflammation, you've got to wait for that to settle down before you can do it. But soon as that's gone, you can actually set to and do 3 treatments fairly close together. And it really does help if you do that, not just one-off kind of thing. So yeah, if a person is prone to irritations in the ears or the sinuses, or they get recurrent colds and sore throats and things like that, sinusitis, rhinitis, hay fever. It's great for pre-hay fever. Like it's good to start doing it now before the hay fever season really starts. And I do see quite a few young chaps, their mothers bring them in. It started again, and I know you said they should come before, but they were all right. And then people wait until the actual symptoms come, don't they? This is human nature. But even if someone's full blown into hay fever, you can still help. Um, but as I say, irritations, but you have to be in between irritations. You can't go doing it while someone's in the middle of a really having a red ear canal, because that will just it's potentially going to irritate it more. So yeah, really great for headaches and migraines because of the way it relaxes the scalp and the meridians that run across the head. We've got the gallbladder channel that goes down like that. We've got the bladder channel that goes over the top of the head. and down the back. We've got the stomach channel that goes around the face like that. So there's plenty of potential for things to get blocked up because we clench our jaws, we clench our necks, we look forward at our phones all the time. There's a lot of neck issues going on in the world these days. So this is why I always say try and release the neck as much as possible when you're doing the ear candles, because you need to, yeah, just make it easier for the ear to do the clearing that it needs to do. And for the headaches and the migraines, they are often associated with tension that is coming from possibly the liver energy or the kidney energy. And so that's why you would work down on the feet, even just holding the bottom of the feet, that point that's right in the middle of the sole of the foot, kidney 1, bubbling spring. That is so lovely to do, to just ground somebody and give them a sense of surging of energy. You be drawing the energy up through yourself, and then help them to balance the top and the bottom. So labyrinthitis, that's when people have got inflammation deep inside. So you're not gonna irritate that, because that's something that's, and Meniere's, that's the one that it can do with balance and vertigo as well. Helps relieve pressure from flying. So it's good to have it before you fly and after you've landed. I don't know why driving is in there. Well, I suppose driving up a mountain, your ear can pop. That's true. Relaxing and calming in cases of excessive excitement and stress symptoms. So that, if someone has been overly excited about something, it can be a good thing, but that can create more tension, so they need to just so the candles stimulate the local activation of blood flow, lymphatic systems, and the metabolic process. I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the meridian flow in here as well, because they weren't experts in that, and that's my field, so I'm going to put it in. Yeah, they are talking about local energy flow, but I'm going to be more specific. And there's reflex points as well that can help as well. There's like points down here on the top of the collarbone. If you can massage across the top of there, that gets things moving downwards as well. So yeah. Oh, something's missing. There was more in that list. If someone's under medical supervision, and having grommets in their eardrums, you wouldn't want to use them either. You know what grommets are? They're those, like these little plastic things that are in the bottom of ear. This is a grommet. It's a plastic thing with a hole at both ends that they insert into the eardrum in the hopes that that's going to help relieve pressure on the ears, and for children mostly who've got glue ear, which is a thing. It's a term that's just basically used for snotty kids. Kids who have got bunged up ears, and it is the wax has become, and the snot and phlegm has become like glue. So that's why sometimes putting a drop of bicarbonate of soda in water and put it in before you do the ear candles, it can soften it up. If oil's been put into the ear, leave it for 24 hours before you do. Oh, and there, the thing that I saved on the last one has disappeared. So yeah, sometimes these slideshows are very frustrating. What I had was a picture of me doing stop the share. A picture of me doing my ear massaging from Touch for Health, because the ears contain the whole of the body, just like the feet. And if you massage and uncurl the ear and go all the way round, it's like you're giving yourself a back massage. And this is always a really good thing to do, because it helps the ears work better, but it's also bringing in energy. They're like little antennae that help bring the energy in. And so if once you've done the two ears on your family member or your customer, you can hold the back of the neck like that with the fingers either side of the vertebrae and just let their neck really relax into your fingers, because that way it's loosening. They need to be lying down for this, by the way. It doesn't work so well sitting up, but you can just have a feel for where it is now. But yeah, because lying on your back is just allowing gravity to let those muscles relax, and then they can let go, and then things can start flowing better through there. So yeah. Now then, how are we doing for time? 20:47. So we've been about
We're
45,
fine.
40
It's
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. If you've got more to say, or we can ask questions, whatever.
Yeah, I was ready for questions. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Or
So
comments or anything. Yeah.
yeah, so anyone got any questions for June?
I wish I lived closer to you, Karen. I'd come and do it for you now.
I could do with it right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
bit bunged up,
Yeah.
as you can hear. Elsa, did you have a question?
Yes, well, it sounds absolutely wonderful. I hadn't actually realized all the intricacies of the ear, nor about the balancing, the bubbling spring and all that sort of thing. So if you did the ear candles, would you do the massage that you just described? Would you do that massage of the ear and the neck before and or after?
I generally tend to do them after, but you could do them before as well. And also I must add, massaging around the ear. I can't do it on my own ear, but you get from the top. You
Yeah,
go down either side of the ear and massage, because there are points at the front of the ear
yeah,
and there's points around the back. And just loosening that, there's often a lot of tension.
yeah,
People don't realize you can clench anything.
yeah,
You can clench blood vessels. They're muscles as well, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, nobody's ever 100% relaxed, I don't think.
No, yeah,
When you talk about clenching blood vessels, I think of headache and migraine because I used to get migraine, and that is to do with that, clenching. That makes sense.
And you know, Raynaud's syndrome as well.
yeah.
That's also the blood isn't flowing, largely because there's tension in the shoulders.
Oh, yes, I relate because that's me 100%. And if I'm not aware, or when I suddenly become aware and notice, oh, my my shoulders are right up, and oh, remember to drop the shoulders. So yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, well, it's great that we're aware, isn't it? Even we can't stop our bodies from kind of going into these reactions
yeah,
to the world around us, but we can mitigate it. We learn these habits when
yeah,
we're very young, and it's like ingrained in us. We copy the
yeah,
adults around us, and we think, well, that's what we're supposed to do. And if you look at a 2-year-old, generally speaking, a 2-year-old is able to sit on the floor with its legs stuck out in front of itself and beautiful straight back.
yeah,
But it isn't long after that that they start doing the hunching over and
yeah,
this and that, because all the adults around are doing that. It's not because they feel the need to do it. Although I have to say, they're walking around having their arms held up in the air because they're holding a grown-up's hand, or they're sitting in chairs that don't suit them, so their backs are kind of trying to adapt to that. That's why you find kids in school tilting their seats, trying to get their backs into a better position, because they know somewhere deep down, they know that they're sitting on chairs is not the best way to go on. Squatting is definitely more natural as a human.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
if I may ask another question, when are you this training you're talking about? When are you planning on?
I'm doing it in May, two Saturday afternoons in May, but they're separate. I mean, it's because the room is so small, I can only get 4 people in at a time.
So where
Um,
Are you?
York.
Oh my goodness, that's a long. I'll have to take a long journey.
You would have to set off in the morning to get here for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, it's where are we? Where are we? Ears, ears, ears. Saturday, May the 9th or Saturday, May the 16th. One of the, and we finish at 5, so it would be a full day out for you. But
Oh,
the
so
class is only 5 hour, 4 hours. Yeah.
oh, all right. Well, that sounds yeah really interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested.
It's a lovely place to come to, and we're not far from the train station. If you
Oh,
were to come by train,
yeah. Oh, that.
there's a bus that comes from the train station right outside my clinic
Oh, okay.
in about 10 minutes. So it's really good. Yeah.
Because I think I do the crystal face massage, and I think it would.
Oh, that was lovely. It would go together
Yeah,
so well. It
yeah.
really would. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
think I think what you described, June, is probably very different to what most people do with the candles. You seem to do so many extra things that help it all. That if I went to someone here, I'd be expecting all that. I probably wouldn't get it, right?
Well, there's a lot of people did train with Linda back in the day, but now maybe a lot of them have retired now. I don't know. You see, this is what's happening. Lots of people my age are retiring, and that's partly why I want to teach because I want to make sure that the stuff that I've learned gets passed on
Yeah.
to
I
more
mean,
people.
is this something that you could ever teach online, or you think it has to be in
Oh,
person?
no, you couldn't teach it online because the people
Shame,
have to be in the room with you so that you can monitor them doing it
of
and
course.
make sure that they've got it precisely right. I don't think I could supervise well enough
No, no,
um
no, that makes sense.
long distance. I one could try, but I mean we have been incredibly creative with the online stuff, haven't we, as a general rule. But yeah, it's nice to be in the room with other people as well because you
Mm,
have to have a body. So this is what we do. We each person gets 2 sets of ear candles, one to
mm,
work with on the day and one to take home.
okay.
And then they have to write up, how they did with it. They have to do some homework as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. There's homework. There's
Excellent.
homework.
Bring it on.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
it's not onerous. It's not onerous. It's just like writing about your experience.
Oh, yeah.
That's all really. And just saying how the person felt and so on. And I've got sheets of proper questionnaires for people to make sure that a
Yeah.
proper intake form for folks and things like that. So I give people a booklet with all of that on it, plus all this history and more stuff about ears and sinuses and different ailments and things like that. Because from an acupuncture point of view, we did study a lot of ailments and a lot of medications and a lot of side effects of medications. But I know not every training does that, and not everybody has got that information. So, I want to give everybody all the information I can as much as possible within reason. I
Yeah.
don't know everything, but I have a lot of information to share.
Mm.
Jacqueline, you were trying to
Yeah.
wave your hand at me. I saw you. I saw you.
And do you hold the candle for the person that you're working on, or do you have a plate with a hole in the middle, or
Oh, no, yeah. That's a very good question because some of these other types of ear candles that are on the market, there's homemade ones and there's ones made with paraffin in them, which kind of can lead to drippage,
Hmm,
and that's why people need those shields to stop the burning wax from dripping or the hot wax. These don't do anything like that. They
no?
don't do anything like that. They just burn down. And then when they get about halfway, the top bit kind of has turned to ash by this point, and it's dry and it just kind of flops over. And as long as you're not breathing on it and blowing it, because then you've got bits of ash everywhere on the person. So if you can kind of breathe away from it and just let it just fall down, and then it comes out, and then you dunk it in the candle. So you don't need any of that extra protection that you get. Some ear candles that you can get are kind of like funnels as well. They're thin at the bottom and wide at the top. And I don't, yeah, these
But
are the ones.
you hold it
These are the ones. And the person
doing
having it just relaxes. And
and
the person
the
doing the treatment
practitioner.
sits at their head if you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
If you've got a proper couch where you can do that, sit at the head and hold it in with your hand around it. I can't separate them, but you want your hand around it, just resting lightly. And if you're resting your elbows on the couch so that you're not going to put too much pressure on them. That's always a good way to do it. And then you just take it away and have your mug of water nearby so that you can quickly put it out. And then you do the massaging and the stuff on the one side. Then you get them to turn over. This is what I do. Get them to turn over and you do the other side. And then you get them on their back and you do all the other stuff. Yeah.
That's what I've always done. I've never been trained, but I think everything sort of all the things that we learn and do, that's what I'd always done. And I've always, when I was in Africa, they were so much more advanced than we were. Don't know if, and probably I don't know now, but that's where I did an awful lot of my swapping, learning, I don't know, all sorts of things. And they were so advanced with that sort of thing. Yeah. And I suppose that they must have mentioned all of that, but being a masseuse as well, it just
Makes sense, right?
it just made sense to me to do all of that.
Yeah.
And I liked it, you said about the neck and everything and the feet, because I'm reflex as well. So, going into the feet
Mm,
and I love it all, and it's absolutely fascinating to listen
yeah.
to you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, I would totally trust you to do my ears because you have really good instincts and you're trusting those and you've probably done it in previous lifetimes, let's face it.
Done it quite a few times in this lifetime because
Yeah.
people have always loved it so much, and
Yeah.
then I've done swaps, so I've had it done.
Yeah.
And it's really lovely. I mean, I wish it was more known about than it is.
Well, that's why I decided to start doing more talking about it because it's always been like sideways to me. It's always been like secondary to my main thing. And most people will call up and ask about acupuncture, but it's only because that's the only thing that they've heard about that I can do.
Mm.
And acupuncture, that's partly why I did it. To be fair, back in the 80s when I first started studying, was because I knew that people would know about it, even if they only thought that it did bad backs. That's something. And once you get them in the room, then you can start explaining about the whole everything else. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And I loved it when you started talking about uh, the indigenous people. That's always a lovely thing to hear about as well.
It is, and I grew up right near a reservation in
Mhm.
Canada. And sadly, by that time I was a teenager in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. They had lost most of their connection to their ancestral knowledge and so on. So like when you say you were in Africa and people were more advanced, I mean you're saying really that they're still in touch with
So
with their traditions and they had kept them alive. That's what I understood you to be saying, really. Is that
they're
right?
real healers, and
Yeah.
yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah.
Which part of Africa can I ask?
South Africa for me.
Ah,
Um, Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely.
Yeah, well, I was in Botswana for a while and people were still very much in touch with their language and their traditions, but they were being well, it's the same thing happened in North America. They took the kids to the native schools and they cut all their beautiful long hair off and made them wear Western clothes and they couldn't speak their language and they had to just, and I said I talked to a friend of mine who's from Nigeria about squatting because she said, "Look how you can squat down and you can kneel and stuff like this." And she said, "My mother can't do that, and she's the same age as you." And I went, "Well." I'm shocked, to be honest, because in my mind and my experience from the 70s in Africa, all the old people were squatting,
Mm.
but I don't think they are now. I think they're sitting on chairs too much.
Can't squat.
You can't squat. Oh,
No,
bless you.
no. Absolutely.
Well, okay. I just, I guess it's because I kept doing it. Treating children, I'm always down on the floor with them. So I just kept doing it. Yeah. But I don't think we have to accept that we're going to fall apart as we get
No,
older. And I
no.
don't think you're accepting that.
Yeah.
But maybe some of us, it's easier for us to squat than others. I don't know.
I have one more question.
Sure.
So when you lighting the ear candle,
Oh, yes.
so yeah, so I haven't. So I'm thinking if you were doing it at home or in your own clinic, there's no issue with
Smoke alarms.
smoke alarms and that sort of thing. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking like with Ways to Wellness, if I wanted to do it, they have smoke alarms in the building, and they've told us because we wanted to put candles out, and they said, "Oh no, you won't be able to do that." So now we have these silly little, flappy battery candles.
Ooh.
But what? Yeah, would it set off smoke alarms?
No, it's never done that in my experience.
Okay, okay,
Depends on how high your ceilings are and how far away the smoke alarm is. But I've never had any problem in any of the and all of the treatment rooms I've been in have had smoke alarms. They when you see them testing smoke alarms, they come and they burn stuff right up underneath it.
yeah,
It has to be full on lots of smoke
yeah,
to set them off. And
It'd
I
be no
think
more
people who
than
don't understand that are
yeah,
overly cautious.
a
But
smoker wouldn't set up a smoke alarm, So
no, no, exactly.
it's no more than that.
It's no more than that. No, in fact, it's less. It's less than that. It doesn't give off very much smoke at all, really. But there's a lovely smell in the room later on of
yes.
honey and beeswax, which is really nice.
Mm.
But yeah, I was working for a while in a place where they wouldn't let me because they didn't understand, and they wouldn't let me use moxa either, which was very frustrating for me as an acupuncturist. But I was only there for a year, and I got over it. Yeah.
It's really, really interesting, June, because although obviously most of us know that everything's connected in here, but for you to talk about hay fever and then also like the ears, because someone that I know, a member of family, she when she goes and flies, she always ends up with an ear infection, and she also has hay fever, and you're like, oh,
There
okay, so
you go.
I now see there's a connection where I never really connected that before.
Yeah.
I'm thinking now I need to get her to go and get some candles in her ears.
Well, I would trust you to do it for her. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I think you have got the sensitivity to do this. And, I know this is going out in public and I probably shouldn't say this, but I just think it's better to do it than not do it for
Yeah,
fear of, doing something wrong. If you follow the rules and don't do it if she's got an infection, excuse
Yeah.
me, inflammation in the ear canal, um or if there's a broken eardrum or there's anything like that, just use proper sensible precautions. And if
Yeah.
if somebody finds it uncomfortable, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, good common horse sense.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved all those pictures of the inner ear. That is
Mm,
fascinating to me.
hmm We are
Yeah.
this piece of equipment
yeah.
is incredible.
Pretty
It's
sophisticated,
absolutely,
right?
yeah, 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 it is. I mean, you just think, who on earth would sit down and design that so that
Yeah.
we can hear sound?
Way. Mm.
It's just phenomenal.
I
Yeah.
was thinking of if somebody was training to be a doctor while I was looking at that.
Mm,
I was thinking, well, golly, yeah, I can understand why somebody would go into that because if that takes you down that journey as quickly as you took us, um, you just want to know more and more, and then
mm,
hence you get your heart doctor or your ear doctor or your brain doctor.
mhm.
That it was lovely. I loved it.
It's also so interesting to see how spirals
Mm.
are so
Mm.
involved in everything, everything. Water wants to move in
Yeah, the
spirals. The
checks.
blood in our veins wants to move in spirally motion. Yeah, yeah, it's quite,
Chakras.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can
Nature.
you explain um how it affects, because you've got down there lymph and metabolism.
Yes.
That's
Which part
a
did you
good
want?
simple
The
answer.
lymph
Hmm.
is responsible for keeping things clear. And
Yeah. So how does it affect that? How do the candles affect the lymph and the metabolism?
okay, so if your lymph is not doing the clearing,
Mhm.
then your metabolism becomes sluggish.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about metabolism is a word that is used to describe your basic feeling of flow
Hmm.
from our perspective. It's I don't know what the Western full definition of it is, but it's when it gets when things slow down, that's when you get pain and
Yeah.
discomfort and blockages. And
Yeah.
so this is the whole idea to keep everything moving all the time. Obviously, we can't keep moving all day long and all night, so we have to sleep. And that's why things are hard to get going in the morning when we've
Yeah.
been getting up because everything stopped for a while. Well,
Yeah.
mostly it stopped. I mean, obviously things are still ticking over and the meridians are still flowing all day and all night. But, our movement, our muscles, they help stimulate the lymph flow.
Hmm.
And that in itself is keeping the cellular debris moving out of where it gets gunked up
Yeah.
and into the disposal unit, which is the small intestine and the kidneys and the bladder for filtering out what's good. The kidneys and the small intestine are the ones that filter out the stuff that we need to get rid of and get it disposed of.
So
And
is it then the smoke from the candles that make this movement in through the lymph? Is that how?
Yeah, you're asking the details now, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is, yeah,
I thought
we
you
were
liked
talking
detail.
about the details earlier on, and this is, yeah, good question. Really good question. Yeah, the smoke is carrying the healing properties of the herbs that are in it. So
Yeah.
sage and chamomile are cleansing. Sage is a very cleansing
Yeah.
kind of herb, and chamomile is very soothing, relaxing kind of herb. And then you've got the honey and the beeswax. So that's all in there. And it's just you don't feel it as being warm inside your ear. You don't tend to feel it. If it does feel warm, then it's kind of a bit of a warning sign. But you can hear the sound of the burning and it sometimes sounds like wind or rain or other natural sounds. It's quite interesting how different people interpret it. But yeah, the smoke goes down, probably in a spiral movement, and
Yeah.
into the ear canal, and then it kind of deposits The little bits and pieces of the powdery stuff that has come through that through the filter inside, and then that ends up settling in, and the ear canal absorbs that. And
Okay.
so then that goes into the bloodstream, and by doing the massage, you're helping to stimulate the flow of all that through the rest of the system because everything's connected.
And
Yeah.
would you also be with it would be sinuses as well, and then the sinuses with the lymph and
Yeah.
that
Well, there are
and
lymph reflex points on the back of the neck and down here across the top of the collarbones. And if you want to get really carried away, you can do the armpits as well.
get
Yeah.
into Karen's.
Yeah.
Tickle your armpit.
All the
And
tickly
also,
bits.
by your roller as well. I mean, everything
Yes.
you're doing in your treatment
Mm.
is sinus lymph, isn't it? And
Yes.
and
Yes.
and getting it all moving.
Yes. Yes. Do not be surprised if you get people saying, "Oh, I'm feeling stuff trickling down the back of my throat," because that's a sign of things releasing. They might need to have a blow of their nose or a clear or a cough or a drink of water. Definitely some more water at the end of the treatment too.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. So like my husband really struggles with both migraines and hay fever, and he gets a stuffy nose and snores and all that. So I'm beginning to think this is something he should do quite regularly. How
Yeah.
often do you think one should do it?
For keeping well,
Yeah.
once every season, maybe at the change of the seasons,
Okay.
four
And
times a year. Yeah.
so like with you said we should do it before hay fever season.
Yes, that's ideally. But even if they're already in the hay fever time, then you can still be beneficial. Yeah.
Okay. Right. But I don't need to do it, say, 6 times before hay fever season.
No, no, without knowing a person, it's hard to say. But
Okay.
I would trust you to use your judgment.
Yeah.
If it feels like he needs some more, do some more.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'd say no
You
more.
can't overdo it. I mean, you could, yeah, if you did it every single day, then that would be too much.
Right.
There's parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. And I'm just thinking out of the box here. Um, so if a person's lying on the treatment couch on the side, um, I could, to increase the benefit of the treatment, add something like a red light
Yeah,
whilst they, well, I mean, then I would benefit too because we'd both be
sure.
under the red light.
Yeah. Not
Hmm.
bad idea. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Everybody who does this adds their own
That's another.
skills that they've already got.
Yeah.
So we're not going to give people an exactly the same kind of treatment. And this is the problem that Western medicine has with what we do because it's tailored to the individual, but it
And
also depends on the varying skills of the practitioner as well.
yeah.
So it's not going to be identical and measurable in that sense
Yeah.
that they want to do their evidence-based stuff
Yeah.
on. But
Yeah.
you can collect evidence
Yeah.
because it's qualitative evidence rather than quantitative evidence. When they talk about evidence, they want all these people to have the same exact treatment,
Yeah.
and then you prove something
Each
because
person.
they've all had the same result. Well, nobody's living in a test tube
Yeah.
situation or a
Exactly.
laboratory situation. Everybody's got different lives,
Yeah.
different
Different
factors in
thoughts.
their lives, emotional,
Yeah.
food wise,
All of
physical living situations. So you're never going to get
it. I,
even two people to give you the same results
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Great.
if they get the benefit and they report back, and this is why we take the notes and we ask them
Yeah.
for feedback because it's
Yeah.
all going into the catalog of of yeah, that it's been really useful for me. Or no, it hasn't. I mean, we want to know if it
Yeah.
hasn't been beneficial too. We're not just trying to prove that everything that we do is really good
Yeah.
because it isn't right for everybody. But
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you.
Mm.
well, I mean, it's just fascinating. I think there's so many applications to this, and obviously, like I said, I've heard of it before, but never realised just how much. I was just thinking here, right? And now it's like, well, actually, there's so much that it affects. It sounds amazing, and I'm really thinking I need to find someone in Surrey, um, to do this now while I'm bunged up,
Right
actually.
now, right this
Yeah,
minute.
right now because I'm fed up with it already, to get rid of it. But like I said, definitely my family member with the hay fever
Yeah.
and the pressure from flying,
Yeah.
which ruins holidays, right?
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah,
Takes all the
exactly.
fun out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was wondering on your slide, it said driving. Did they mean diving?
Well, diving also is a risky business for ears. That's a
Yeah,
whole other realm. That my daughter's very experienced in that, and yeah, I mean, it could be diving. It could be she meant diving, but I think driving up mountains is also
yeah,
bad
yeah,
for your ears.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go in and fix this slideshow. Things were missing. Things were missing. It's
Was
not
there?
good.
Well, it's fine. We wouldn't have known anyway. But it
Yeah.
just struck me that diving would be an issue.
Yes, yes, it can be. It can
Yeah,
be, and you have to be very careful with your ears when you're diving. And people always have to. I've never done it because I'm just too. I couldn't. I couldn't. I'm
yeah.
so proud of my daughter the way she does it. But yeah, no, it's definitely you got to be cautious with the ears for that, for
Mm.
sure. Well, why don't you come up with Elsa and do it together? Or she's not far from you, is she? So you could.
Yeah, Leatherhead Way, Ashstead, aren't you, Elsha? So
She's
yeah,
on
no,
mute.
yeah, not far, not far.
Yeah.
But
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm that far. Are you in Woking?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
not that
So
We could meet somewhere and hop
she
on a
could be
train.
my deputy. I'll train her, then she'll come and train you. How
Oh,
about
far.
that?
yes, happily. I'll do that
How
happily.
Yeah,
about that? Yeah. Yeah.
that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I'd definitely be interested in it. Whether I can get up to York is another thing.
Yeah, it might take you all day to get here. No,
Yeah,
it's not true. I went all the way to Gloucestershire for a weekend for my Touch for Health instructor update, and yeah, it took me 3 hours to get to Gloucester
yeah,
from
yeah,
York. And
yeah,
that's a ridiculous cross-country thing. But there is a train that you can get that goes straight through. But to get to you in Woking, I think you'd have to change once or twice, and that's what messes up the traveling, unless you drive. But then that's really irritating and annoying. And yeah, I mean driving, okay, driving, shoulders,
yeah, yeah,
another
I'll
factor.
be the first guinea pig.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Well, I'll send you the information and you can see if
Put
you can
put the
make it.
information on the group.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
that would be great.
and obviously, and all of your contact details, anything you've got going on the next week, put in the group. You're on the Telegram group, right?
I am, but I'm
Yeah.
also on the Signal Cabby group as well. But I don't know that I can put it on there, so I haven't
No,
done.
that's fine. If you put it in the Telegram, I'll then put it in the WhatsApp one as well. That's
Hmm.
our group, so everyone gets that information.
Well,
Okay.
Um,
according to, I'm just looking on the direction thing. Is this the city of York we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 3.5 hours by train. That's not
Okay.
so bad.
That's
But
probably from London, is it?
no,
With
Well, no,
London's
that's
only
from
two
me.
hours
That's from
away.
Ashtead.
Oh,
London's,
okay.
London's 2 hours.
I think you'd be
Um,
Euston to York, I think.
no, it's King's Cross.
I was
Yeah.
going to say
Is
King's
it?
Cross.
Okay, sorry. Very,
Hmm.
very sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Euston goes up the west coast, and King's
Yeah,
Cross
Yeah.
is the east coast.
Yeah.
LNER. So
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
there it is, LNER, yes.
Mm. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you
it's not
so
bad.
much. Thank
You're
you
very
so much.
welcome.
Really interesting. You always make everything interesting, and you
Oh,
just
thank you.
wealth of knowledge, and I just love everything that you do, really.
Oh, bless you.
Very grateful when you come along and do these talks for us.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'm
I'm
so
sure,
glad to have met you, and it's just great that we've got these ongoing relationships that have been going on now for 6 years.
Isn't
yeah,
that amazing?
Five, 6
Yeah.
years. And I just think, yeah, good things have come out of the
Yeah.
nonsense, haven't they?
Yeah.
that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, June. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And we will announce next week the next one. And hope to see you all again in 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
Happy.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you, everyone, as well.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah,
Have a good
bye.
evening. Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
Shall we
you
switch
stop
off the
recording.
recording?
Yeah, I've stopped.
I've not yet.